Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between.
What's up?
So, I think this is the Nerdcast episode.
Will be Treblechin Nerdcast episode
5. Yes, 5. That
5.
one. We have an idea this week instead of last week.
Yeah.
Because we had some news and some new interesting things happen this week.
Ironically, Treblechin Nerdcast episode 5, we will be talking about Battlefield 5.
Now, excuse you.
Now called
Battlefield 1.
Yeah, now called Battlefield 1.
So,
because that wasn't taken because Bad Company was the first Battlefield in the series they've been going on. Because there was Battlefield there was the Battlefield World War II games.
Battlefield 1942, then Battlefield 2, which I believe was like the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And then Battlefield 3 was the next like actual big Battlefield game. There was other ones like 2142, Bad Company games. Bad Company 2 is whenever the Frostbite engine was introduced, and it was in all of its glory. Then 3 came out, and it was shaky at launch and then got better. And then 4, nobody realized came out, and it was a hot mess of garbage. And Hardline came out, which was actually 4 fixed but cops and robbers. And it's still a hot mess.
Yeah.
And then we have this one.
Yeah.
Which, first let's talk about the oops that Activision has made. Because their trailer for Infinite Warfare, which I'm going to admit, the single player looks interesting, but I probably still won't get it.
It doesn't look interesting to me.
Well, I mean, it's just like, ooh, there's robots and there's shooting.
Yeah, but there's
space.
There's been robots and shooting since Black Ops 2.
But yet, like, then I thought, well, that's silly because we were just in the Vietnam War, like Black Ops, stuff that's blacked out.
Yeah.
And then they went to that, so I'm like, that's silly. And then Advanced Warfare came out, and I'm like, that looks cool.
And somewhere in there was Call of Duty Ghosts, which was hot trash.
Yeah.
But I don't know. In my opinion, everything really since Call of Duty 4 has been hot trash. But that's just me.
I liked the story of Black Ops 1.
I thought Black Ops was interesting, but like I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's fair.
I sort of cared with Call of Duty 4, and like that was like an inventive new way to do multiplayer at that point.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of...
Well, that was the Halo 2 multiplayer engine.
It was a little different, though. Like, they changed it up a little bit and added a progression system.
Well, yes, the progression system was strictly Call of Duty, but the matchmaking itself was Halo 2.
It worked better than Halo 2 did, A. B, there was the progression system, which was unique. And... It was an interesting game, and now it just seems like it's copy-paste, put us in a different place where we can shoot brown people.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I know.
That's one of the issues. But
that's literally almost all of the other, like, military shooters.
Yeah.
Because this is America.
That's a problem, though.
But now, after... Infinite Warfare did their thing and then announced that you could play Call of Duty 4 again, like with better graphics, but you gotta buy the new one with it.
Not only do you have to buy the new one to get Call of Duty 4 remastered, you have to get the $80 edition of Call of Duty and Infinite Warfare to get Call of Duty 4 remastered, which I don't want.
Yeah.
Infinite Warfare, and a lot of people don't want Infinite Warfare. But Call of Duty 4 was like
the Call of Duty.
It had
like it was the first Call of Duty that really got on the map, because the first
Yeah.
3 Call of Duty games were good.
Yeah.
And they were just like, oh, it's a World War II shooter. And then they did Modern Warfare, and they're like, what? There's wars today?
Yeah.
We have today's guns? I have that gun!
Well, like, Call of Duty Finest Hour was a single-player game. Like, that was single player first, and the Call of Duty 2 and its spin-offs, which there were
7 of them or so.
I think there was one that was only on the GameCube. I think it was Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1.
That wasn't only on the GameCube; it was on PlayStation 2.
I played it on the GameCube, but
yeah.
Anyway,
and
it's
an interesting thing to be on GameCube.
Yeah, well, whatever.
That's fine.
I like me a GameCube. I had a GameCube. Anyway, but the World War II shooters were interesting, and then like around Call of Duty 3, like we were hitting a saturation with World War II shooters, because we had
Call of Duty,
Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, the Battlefield game, Brothers in Arms,
yeah,
and like a bunch of those in each.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, Wolfenstein, if you want to call that a World War II shooter.
Yes and no.
Well, Return to Castle Wolfenstein was the one that was in that saturation.
Yeah.
But
very early in that, but
yeah,
still there.
But Call of Duty was like, well, we can switch stuff up and like have wars today, and I'm like, all right, and they had that innovated multiplayer from what Halo 2 had done,
yeah,
and like mixed it up a little bit with their own stuff. And that was genuinely interesting at the time, and they still felt like they had to make an interesting single-player story.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty 4 had a fairly interesting single-player story.
Mm-hmm.
And after, like... after the multiplayer was so popular... People were like, well, I just kind of want to play the multiplayer, and I think Activision is like, well, we can save a lot of money
by just doing that again and again and again,
yeah,
and again and again,
and like just kind of paying people that have a lot of buzz behind them to spend a little bit of time putting something into our single-player campaign, because like Black Ops 2 I think Black Ops and Black Ops 2 were written by David S. Goyer, which they can call him co-writer of The Dark Knight at that point.
Uh-huh.
And even though that was mainly Jonathan and Christopher Nolan that wrote those,
yeah,
but there was a lot of buzz behind him. And then with Advanced Warfare, they had Kevin Spacey because House of Cards was big,
mm-hmm.
and like
and adding like slight new gimmicks in each installment.
Yeah, Ghosts had a dog.
But like Advanced Warfare, you had the mech suits.
In Infinite Warfare, it looks like you go to space, but I really doubt there's any space combat.
Yeah.
Like, people are looking at that trailer and like, oh, we're gonna fly spaceships! You're probably not.
I think it might be just for that level, kind of like in Halo 4, or no, Halo Reach, when you're in the Saber.
I honestly don't think it's even gonna be that. Like, because with Call of Duty Ghosts, there was a section that they were marketing in space. Like, there was a part that was in space on a space station, and it was literally you just shot a few men in space and then the space station blew up, and that was it. So like, just because they're marketing that moment of you jumping to hyperspace, that's probably it.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know. Haven't played the game yet. Don't really plan to.
Yeah.
but
then, like, just a couple days later or so?
Yeah, a couple days later.
We got Battlefield 1, which takes us back to World War One.
Not World War II. World War One.
And I think is more interesting for like two reasons. Like, A, thank God we're going back in time instead of forward, because there's so many sci-fi shooters right now.
Yeah.
That something old will do us good.
Yeah, and also like World War One. World War One is relatively untouched by video games. Like the only World War One game that comes to mind is the Ubisoft art game called Valiant Hearts: The Great War, which is from what I hear, a deeply emotional and incredible experience. And it's in that engine that the new Rayman games are, and Child of Light. So it's absolutely gorgeous. And it tells a deep emotional story and doesn't focus on combat. Like, it's a side-scrolling story-based game.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to like shooters, we don't have. I don't think we have
anything. Yeah, because first World War One was kind of like an atrocity on mankind.
Oh yeah, no, it still is.
Yeah,
like, World War One is absolutely horrific. Yeah, and that's one thing that worries me about this game, because World War One is so horrific, and you need to like. Almost more so than World War II, like, treat that subject matter with a lot of respect. And the issue there is Battlefield single-player campaigns have, across the board, been terrible.
Bad Company games are good.
Okay.
Like, the single-player was pretty good. Like, it had a story. It's not hard lines like trying to be a TV show thing.
Yeah, but even that from what I have read is arguably the best Battlefield campaign there is.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I've seen. But
okay.
I've heard 3 is atrocious and 4 is a crime against humanity.
More than likely.
But
like the Battlefield games haven't been known for their weren't even based off of stories before.
No,
like 1942 to 2142, and like all of them basically.
Those were like entirely multiplayer games.
Yeah, they were only multiplayer.
Yeah,
that you would. Like make servers for, or you
they did that before it was cool,
or you went on GameSpy, and like other like gaming services that held servers for games.
Yeah,
because this was way back in the day when dedicated servers weren't a thing.
Yeah, but multiplayer used to be just a mess. That's a story for another time.
Yeah.
I remember spending...
Shooter games used to be a mess.
Oh, yeah, but I remember spending just hours trying to futz around with Battle.net for StarCraft 1. And it's just... It's exhausting.
Yeah?
You're just like, okay, have you created a game yet? Okay, what name... What you call the game? Okay, I'll look for it. I can't find it. Where is it? What server are you on? Okay, I'm finding that server. Okay, I still can't find it. It has 220. Okay, and I finally find it. And I'm like, okay, what's the code? The code's not working. I can't get in.
I think that's a you problem, Davey.
I would
just... I use a lot of Battle.net on Diablo 2.
I don't know,
that's how I played Diablo 2.
I had a lot of trouble with the Battle.net for StarCraft 1.
But so we haven't had like any World War I shooters, and with how World War One was, I'm really interested in what they do with it,
and also
from a gameplay standpoint.
What somebody on Podcast Beyond made an interesting point about this when it was still a rumor. The name Battlefield makes a lot of sense for a World War One game, because World War One is about the battlefield, like the actual
No man's land.
field in which you have the battle, because like the rules of engagement in World War One are very like strict and segregated, and like battlefield centric, which I think they could make really, really interesting. I don't know if they will, but I think they can. And the thing about going back in time rather than further forward in time, or like even contemporary things anymore, because like that was interesting the first time, for me at least. It was pretty much just interesting with Modern Warfare, and then like Modern Warfare 2 rolled around. I'm like, I don't really care anymore. But like I remember one of my main issues with those is like contemporary weapons just don't interest me at all. Like I don't care. And they're not interesting to shoot. There's nothing fun about them. Like I want my weapons to like have interesting limitations that add to the gameplay.
Yeah.
Or be like a silly laser gun, or something that shoots explosive teddy bears, or like something from like an Insomniac game, or a like very like alien based sci-fi shooter.
Yeah.
Like
Dead Space or something.
Ridiculous nonsense is basically what I want. Or like something that like is old and archaic and has like interesting limitations to it, that like I have to plan out like how I'm going to shoot, where I'm going to shoot, how I need to be shooting to get the right accuracy.
That's one of my main worries for Battlefield 1, because I love the concept of going back in time again, because we really need it.
Yeah.
We really need it as a palate cleanser. But I'm afraid of what the shooter community is going to do with that, because the main weapons that were used were bolt-action rifles.
Which,
no matter what.
Which that consistently is like my favorite weapon in those World War II shooters. Like the bolt-action things where you fire and
the
you have to go...
the Springfield, the M1s.
Yeah, like those are cool.
Yeah.
Like they're interesting. Like I have to make sure I hit something, and then I gotta wait a second before I can shoot again.
I'm afraid, because like how the shooter community is just so built on now is like people have all these different styles that they play, and most of them are like automatic rifles or shotguns or like submachine guns or all these other things, to where like everyone has a bolt action rifle. You have a melee weapon.
Yeah.
Go. And people are going to flip shit. Like, why can't I have a machine gun?
I understand your concern there.
This game sucks.
Yeah, I understand your concern there, but I also feel like maybe the multiplayer might be different. Like somebody
I don't
may
want that too.
I would be more interested in multiplayer that is bolt-action rifles and all that.
Bolt-action rifles, bombs, shovels,
gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like...
Yeah. I am honestly horrified of what they're going to do with that, either in-game or like in story mode.
There is a brief moment in the trailer when you can like see a gas bomb go off on the battlefield, and the guy puts on a gas mask, which reminds me a lot of Metro 2033 and Last Light, because like there are moments in that game where you go out into the into the nuclear wasteland, and you have to have your gas mask on, and like you have to make sure your gas mask is like loaded up, or not loaded up, but like
new filters.
Yeah. So you gotta like find other gas masks around to like put another one on, and like I don't know if they're gonna go that far with it, but like the gas mask mechanic seems like it could be interesting.
Well, from the trailer, it also looks like if you have the gas mask on, it hinders your vision.
Yeah.
So
that's why it's gonna be.
So like you can
cool.
only see, you can't see like directly in front of you, but you can see like in your peripherals, which I think would be really cool to do. But again, that's going to mess people up that play shooters. So I feel like this might be a very niche game, unfortunately.
I feel like it might be, because I think people are interested in it in concept, but once they see it in practice, they might start to turn on it. Because right now on YouTube, the trailers are the trailers are such that the Infinite Warfare trailer has like over 1 million dislikes and like 2,000 so likes.
Yeah,
like really bad. And the Battlefield 1 trailer is the opposite.
Yeah,
and I'm interested to see, like, once people see this game in action, how that shifts, or at least how the reception of the game shifts.
Yeah.
But right now, what we're seeing is a gorgeous video game that is doing something different and is bringing something new to the table.
Yeah.
And that is so welcome in the shooter community right now. Because
so much so.
We have an incredibly homogenous offering from Activision and
EA.
A little bit from EA. Like, the past Battlefield games.
And even the new hero shooter genre, with like Battleborn, Overwatch, and all these other things are sci-fi shooters.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about Overwatch in a different video here soon, maybe.
Yeah.
We might bring it up here, but
what I'm really interested in is this game looks incredible. Like, the visuals.
Oh my god, yes.
The visuals,
if you haven't seen this trailer, go and see it.
Absolutely beautiful, and I believe that is at least close to gameplay because it's the same engine as Battlefront. And Battlefront is
beautiful.
Second or third most gorgeous game I've seen this generation. And
it's a Star Wars game.
It's a Star Wars game. But, like, looking at that game and also listening to that game, the sound in that game is so incredible. Like, the noises just hit real hard. And same developer, it's DICE.
Yeah.
And if they are capable of doing...
With the Frostbite engine.
Yeah. If they are capable of doing that, then I am genuinely excited about the look, but also the sound of this game. Like, and hearing the bombs go off, hearing the rifles click, and
the artillery fire.
Yeah, the artillery fire, the machine guns in the back, the turrets in the background. Like,
the thing that like really made me stand out in the sound department was the tank. Whenever it's like, forward! And the dude pushes the bar with all the clanking.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, that is a World War I tank.
Yeah.
Which I want to bring up something that Angry Joe did in his video.
Yeah.
It's like, how are they going to deal with vehicles and tanks in that game?
Yeah.
Because in World War I, tanks were literally indestructible because you didn't have rocket launchers, you didn't have like mines, you had like legitimate bombs, like from Napoleon era, like big ass shot puts filled with gunpowder.
Yeah.
And like the only way that you could destroy a tank was like getting up onto it, opening up the hatch, and killing people inside of it, or throwing one of those bombs or low-tech grenades that just came about, or gas.
Yeah, but
into the tank.
That sounds really fun. Like,
yeah,
the
it sounds incredible, and I hope that DICE will do those things instead of just everybody shoot the tank.
Yeah.
No,
because like everybody shoot the tank is not fun, but like the idea of outflanking that tank and getting up on, because Metal Gear Solid 5 does that beautifully. If you want to play it like that, because if you see a tank and it's standing still, you can maneuver yourself around that tank so it does not notice you.
Yeah,
and then just put a balloon on it, and that tank's yours now.
Yeah.
Like, outflanking a tank is really, really fun to do, and like going in there and seeing the tank, having that danger, like how scary that's gonna be, because it's so powerful and you can't get it from a distance, and figuring out how to like work your way through the ditches in the battlefield, like trying to get around and get on top of that tank and destroy it. It just sounds like an incredible gameplay moment to me.
Yeah.
And I'm probably overestimating what this game's going to do, but I really hope I'm not. Because I don't know what to expect from them.
Yeah, because, again, this is World War I, and, like, we're going to have very big open fields, which makes me wonder, because they do the destructible environment so much, are they going to have the ground destructible to where then, like, as the battle progresses, there are these now craters that people, because you would have to go out in a charge to try and get to the other side and be mowed down by machine guns.
I would be...
Can you then jump into those craters as cover that players create in a game from the artillery fire, from
because buildings,
low tank
buildings aren't going to be as much of a thing in this game, but like having the destruction on the field itself, that's gonna be crazy, because like you're gonna be creating craters for people to hide in, but also you're creating death traps to throw gas into and destroy them.
But the thing that I would love about that, if they did that, that literally makes every multiplayer game different.
Yeah,
because those craters aren't there in every match.
Yeah.
You either have to plan them out to where you make those craters, or you just find one in a frantic moment when a dude, as you're charging in, gets onto that machine gun and mows all your buddies down.
Yeah.
There are just so many possibilities with this game.
Yeah.
And like,
I'm wondering...
I feel so weird saying that, because like most shooter games are going in the future where literally the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they're all the same.
Yeah.
And the game that's going back in the past has like the infinite possibilities, besides like to keep it in that time.
Yeah. And why that sounds so strange is because like we want them to like think artistically and do something interesting once they move into the future. But like the thing about this is we've been to the future time and time again with first person shooters. Like throughout the entire lineage of the video game industry, we have been to the future.
Doom.
Over and over and over and over and over again. And we did have that saturation of World War II shooters there for a while, and we have a few things that go back, but this is a war that is totally almost totally untouched by video games.
Yeah.
And it's also horrific. And
because
as
World War I was the reason the Geneva Convention was created.
Yeah. And as video games are kind of maturing and becoming a more complex medium, a medium where you can tell emotional and complicated stories,
mm-hmm.
I'm wondering how hard they're gonna hit how horrible some of the things that happened in World War I were. Like seeing your buddies get destroyed by gas, having people charge out of the trenches to get killed by machine guns to create a wall of bodies for people to hide behind.
Shell shocked from artillery.
Yeah.
Like loss of hearing from firing off those artillery shells.
And we saw the melee stuff. Like, that looks brutal.
Yeah, just one of those weapons that a guy was using was a grenade with spikes in it.
Yeah.
And he was just using it as a melee weapon.
Yeah. And he knocks the dude over and smacks him, and you just see the blood fly up, and I'm like, oh!
Yeah.
I've never expected a Battlefield game to make me go, oh!
Or the shuffle.
Yeah.
Like, the shuffle is the first point where you go, wait, there's melee in this game? That's not just like, you're dead.
There's swords. There's horses.
Yeah. there's the dude on horseback. And it's just so weird that something so old has more possibilities than the thing in the future where literally history has been written but the future has not.
Yeah.
So the thing that has already been written has more possibilities than what is yet to come.
Well,
and that's a really strange thing.
That to me, an artist is only limited by his imagination.
Yeah,
and an artist that doesn't have to imagine as much, like, the part of the work is already done for World War I. Like, the world building is over. You've finished that. Now you just need to tell an interesting story. In the when you're going into the future, you have to create a world, and in Call of Duty, or at least what Infinity Ward does, like, they want to create a future that is believable.
Mm.
And that is very, very hard.
Yeah.
And they only have 3 years to create this believable future, write a story that it takes place in that is compelling,
mm-hmm.
and design a game.
Yeah.
And make sure your multiplayer is balanced, because Activision is poking you on the back like, that's still the most important thing.
Yeah.
Make sure that works better than the other thing. Because I remember playing Call of Duty Ghosts. Like,
ew.
Moving around in the campaign of Call of Duty Ghosts felt less fluid than in multiplayer. Like, I would, when I would go down some stairs in the campaign, like, you could see, like, the camera go
yeah,
it just goes where in multiplayer it'll go like, it'll go down in a fluid way like a person would.
Yeah.
Like, you did this. You did it. Why didn't you do it for the thing that looks better? Because the game looks better in campaign because it can.
Yeah.
But it's not designed with nearly as much love.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell. You can tell when a video game has a lot of love put into it. Like, I can tell that Oblivion was designed with more love than Skyrim.
Yeah.
Just by looking at the way that world was built, the attention to detail and everything. Like, yes, Skyrim is a gorgeous, beautiful game and incredible and massive.
Yeah.
But Oblivion has so much personality in every pocket. It has...
Same with Morrowind.
It has attention to every detail in every dungeon, in every city, in every bit of wilderness, in every Oblivion gate. Mm-hmm. There is just stuff to see in every pocket. And like you can just see the love that the creator had for it. And I'm looking at the Call of Duty campaign, and yes, it's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And the world is kind of interesting. The story does not interest me one iota. And there are these little tiny things that aren't quite right that pull me out of this gorgeously realized environment. So, like, your story's not interesting, and I'm not engaged in your world anymore because you didn't put that detail in there.
Yeah.
But that's attention to detail is there in the multiplayer. And that is just incredibly frustrating to me. Mm-hmm. Because they did put the work in. They just were told that one thing was more important than the other thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's how game design should work.
No.
And the problem is that every Call of Duty has to come out in November. Can't get pushed back.
Nope.
It just can't, because Activision has shareholders that they have to have a strict schedule where everything is going to happen because they are running a tight ship of a business. Mm-hmm. But this is
Blizzard is like the only people that like have like loosey-goosiness, because Activision and Blizzard are partners. Activision doesn't own them. They're like, hey, we'll work together. You can fund our servers, and we'll pay for anything that doesn't make it through because we got World of Warcraft.
And I feel like the reason
so Blizzard's just like, oh yeah, our new game's coming out in 3 months. What?
And I feel like the reason that Blizzard gets that leeway is Blizzard can exist without Activision. Mm-hmm. Blizzard could exist without Activision, but they have a little bit extra money, and Activision gets a little piece of their pie too because they're working together.
Yeah. Because if they're the same stock, like Dr. Pepper Snapple is like. They are one and the two together in the same thing.
Yeah.
Like Activision Blizzard is like that. So like, hey Activision, you make money. Let's combine forces. Like you've got this money. We've got this game that has kind of skyrocketed very suddenly on us. And we need some more servers, but we can't afford it enough in time by ourselves. And so they're like, oh let's do this.
Yeah. Sometimes games just need to be delayed. Mm-hmm. Battlefield Hardline was delayed.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to run into an issue they had with Battlefield 3.
Battlefield 4.
Yeah. Uncharted 4 was delayed time and time and time again, and people were thinking like, oh, what's going on over there? Is this game ever gonna come out? But I have played that game for 7.5 hours, and the attention to every tiny detail, everything in that game is beautifully crafted. Mm-hmm. You will look at every single thing and nothing looks out of place. The only things that look like they could have been done better is sometimes the physics weirds out on some little tiny set decoration over here. Mm-hmm. And that'll just happen when you have set decorations that can be tampered with, because there's a bunch of crap that's on like tables and like hanging from stuff that bullets will fly into, and it'll just go away. It'll get destroyed or fly off the table, and
indestructible teacups.
And some of them will break.
Mm-hmm.
Like that game is just so incredibly detailed, and I feel like that's why they needed to delay it more and more, because they're just like, this is our last adventure with this character. Like,
mm-hmm.
that they've said that. They haven't said it's going to be the last Uncharted game, but it is definitely the last one with Nathan Drake.
And it's a thief's end.
I don't know what that means, because I haven't finished it yet, and I wouldn't say if I had. But
don't have another Witcher issue.
That game is just so perfectly designed. The hand of a creator is just so visible in every aspect of that game.
A master hand.
Yeah, I was hiding behind some bags of grain because there were people shooting at me.
Uh-huh.
And bullets flew through those bags of grain, and the grain spilled out.
Yeah.
That is genuinely incredible.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Did it stop some of the bullets?
It stopped some of the bullets, and it would come through the bags, and the grain would spill out of the holes.
Mm.
And like the bag would deflate.
Nice.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk more about that in a different video. Uh-huh. But my point for this is, games need time in the oven if they are to be fully realized.
Yeah, like Force Unleashed was delayed, like, I think it was only twice, but it was like a full year total that it was delayed.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, well, it's going to come out in June. Never mind, it's coming out in December. It's coming out in May.
What's weird is, like, Gears of War does, like, the opposite. Like, Gears of War 3 was like, we're coming out, like, around Christmas. And then later in the year, like, we'll come out in September.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just weird, because, like, Diablo 3, like, in 2008, they had that gameplay trailer for, like, 20 minutes that I watched so many times. It wasn't even funny. And it's like, coming soon. Like, this will be out in just a couple of years.
11 years later.
2013, the game finally released.
Yeah. And
they kept saying, like, yeah, it'll be out soonish. We'll have PvP arenas. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. PvP arenas isn't working out. We're gonna have these runes that you can collect to put into your skills to make them different and new. We'll just make them things that you can unlock now instead of them dropping. Yeah. There was a lot of weird things that pushed it back a little bit more and more, and then they're like, okay, it's releasing in 2 months.
And like that's an example of like a developer biting off more than they can chew and saying too much while development is still going on. Because they're like, this is gonna be a new experience. This is gonna be something incredible, something deep, something
Titan.
Something huge and different for the RPG community. And then like when it finally came out, they're just like, it's kind of a casual version of Diablo 2.
Well, no, like in the beginning, that game was hard.
Yeah.
I played a wizard, motherfucker.
Well,
Wizards didn't work.
Your class was underdeveloped. My class was overdeveloped.
You had, like, escapes. Yeah. Wizard had an escape every 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And so, like, playing a wizard back then was very hard because wizards were supposed to be these glass cannons. You, in fact, had a trait that's like, oh, you do 20% more damage, but you'll take 15% more damage.
And you're like, I can't afford that shit!
And so it's like, well, if you can dodge everything and deal enough damage before they can get into melee with
if
you
can challenge everything.
Because, like, I played so much of Diablo 3 whenever it first came out.
I sunk like 60 some hours into one character.
Yeah.
And a bunch into other characters.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds pitiful to, like, real hardcore Diablo fans, but, like, this is a decent chunk of my summer.
Yeah. And, like, I played so much of that. When I finally got to Diablo, that took me, like, 2 nights. And I haven't had a boss fight to where it took me, like, multiple days and a long time. Yeah. So I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Yeah. And then I started playing a monk, and, like, it was a little bit easier. But I could tell noticeably, like, the wizard feels a little bit off, and these melee classes are a little bit stronger. Turns out that as a passive, the melee characters add 30% damage reduction just automatically. Like, well, that's bullshit.
A little bit. And
but
Blizzard.
And then, like, as it went along, they got rid of the auction house, and the console versions came out, and so, like, the game changed dramatically. Yeah. Like, the game is a hell of a lot easier than it was. Because, like, now you can choose your difficulty, and, like, the difficulties that they were are
too easy, make it as hard as you want.
Too hard, go fuck yourself.
Too hard, make it as easy as you want.
Which is fine, because, you know, then everyone can play the game.
Yeah.
But that feeling of, like, I beat this game, and I beat it on Nightmare.
Yeah.
And I almost beat it on Hell is a good feeling in a Diablo game.
Yeah, and
those were hard in Diablo 1 and 2.
I really miss that New Game Plus style that they had. Like, because
they had that before New Game Plus was a thing.
Yeah, and I was like,
back in 1996,
and I was really excited to, like, run through every version of New Game Plus for that game, like, finally get to Inferno. And
yeah, because, like, it's like, oh, you had normal, and you had Nightmare, then you had Hell, and now there's a 4th mode, Nightmare, motherfucker. Eat it.
The last one's Inferno.
Oh, yeah, Inferno.
You said Nightmare. Nightmare was the second one.
Yeah, I forget things.
You broke it.
Yeah. Inferno, it's even hotter than Hell.
It's very, very hot fire. Isn't fire hot? No, not hot.
This is white star material, motherfucker. Because, like, on Hell difficulty...
Remember when we were talking about Battlefield?
Yeah. Because, like, on Hell difficulty as a wizard, like, I couldn't beat some rare enemies.
Yeah.
Like, if they had the shielding trait, it basically told the wizard to go fuck itself.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't do damage right now. And we have mortar abilities.
and like you would get frustrated, and people, and like you'd be like, how do I do this? And I remember hearing the answer a lot, play with friends. And I'm like, that's not how this should work. Like, this is
But it gets harder with more friends.
Yeah, but like this is a single player experience. Like it is possible for this to be a single player experience, so it should be balanced to be a single player experience. And Diablo 3 just seemed like it wasn't. Like it just wasn't balanced very well.
Mm-hmm.
And
then the console versions came out and became overbalanced.
And for as long as that game had in the oven, and like I'm pretty sure it went through several management changes, and like a lot of different devs had their sticky paws in that, and just probably was a too many cooks in a kitchen type situation where it just kind of became a mess.
Because I wanted that Siege Breaker demon as like a demon type we would fight like kind of often instead of just a boss mode.
Mm-hmm.
Because when that thing popped up in the gameplay trailer, that was horrific. Because it ripped the barbarian in half. The barbarian was my baby. And then the wizard came out. I'm like, I need this.
I need it inside.
Because I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I played a wizard for a very long time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need this now.
I need to inject this into my veins.
Need that arcane magic. Oh yeah! I'm a fucking high elf. Get that mana. Oh yeah!
I'm Mr. T and I'm a night elf mohawk.
What's your game? I miss those commercials.
Yeah.
That's how I went to World of Warcraft. Before Wrath of the Lich King came out, I saw those commercials. I'm like, I've heard that game. I'll try that. I got a 14-day trial in my Diablo 2 game. Oh, I'll try that.
Were you a night elf mohawk?
Not in the very beginning. I was very boring, and I played a human warrior for my 14-day trial.
You.
And then I started playing the game, and I was an undead warlock.
Yeah.
Got frustrated because...
Sort of more interesting.
And got frustrated because leveling didn't happen back then. So I became a high elf, the blood elf paladin, and I played that character. And he's my he's gone through some changes. He's now a human.
Yeah.
But that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
So back to shooters. After we've gone on that, how did we get here? How did we get to Blizzard?
We were talking about
Activision Blizzard.
We were talking about how sometimes games need to be delayed, and then we got on Uncharted, and then we got on Diablo.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And here we are now.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope Battlefield 1 like is designed with love.
Yeah.
And the attention to detail that like the early Call of Duty games had, because the early Call of Duty games had like historians would come in and like tell them what to do to design the weapons and to
who was on what boats,
because what weapon was used when, how the tactics were, like
what they did on the battlefield.
Yeah,
like they were very, very specific about stuff, and like on a couple of levels, like whenever I got older, I was actually looking out for like a Sergeant Davenport for my grandpa.
Yeah,
because he was in Europe in World War II as a sergeant of like the artillery guys.
Yeah,
and like he was on his way to Berlin whenever he got a call that's like, the Russians have moved in, go ahead and head back to the beach.
Yeah,
they've got this one. And so yeah, like whenever I noticed like, hey, these are like actual people.
Yeah.
And like when they die on the screen, they don't show back up ever.
Nope.
And like I found that really interesting, so I was always keeping my eye out for my grandpa, because that would be really cool to see my grandpa in a video game. But that's neither here nor there.
That's a different story.
Family history aside, I'm really interested in what Battlefield will do for this, because
Battlefield 1.
Like the only issue that I really had with the trailer was the paper mache airplane breaking down like a castle fort.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. I know you're showing off your destructible environments, but that thing was made of paper. Literally.
Yeah.
Like, you could go up to a biplane back then with a butter knife and, like, put just a little bit of force and cut the wings on that thing. They were literally made of paper mache. The engine was the only heavy part, and even then, I highly doubt it was going to bring down a castle. Or like the windmill, rather.
Yeah.
That's made of stone.
Yeah. But, the one thing in the trailer that looked weird to me was
Zeppelins.
The gas, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The brief moment that you see the gas in a crater, like
the big fart cloud behind the dude.
Yeah, it just kind of looked like a Toy Story cloud, like, or a cluster of Toy Story clouds.
Yeah,
and like I understand that smoke is a very
hard thing to do,
very difficult effect. So I'll give them a pass. They don't need my pass.
Yeah,
they're gonna make the game anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks incredible, and the setting is interesting, which is more than I can say for pretty much any other military shooter that exists right now.
Oh, Halo.
Oh, that's not really a military shooter.
It's got the United Nations Marine Corps.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it does, but
there's Gears.
I wouldn't even call that a military shooter. Like that is the Expendables.
The new one
still looks kind of Expendables-y.
With aliens.
I'm so excited for those.
Yeah.
But just because something involves the military doesn't mean it's a military shooter. Mm-hmm. Like, a military shooter means like the fact that it is military is consequential to what the game is.
Yeah.
Whereas Halo is, you are a super soldier fighting aliens. That is what's consequential to what Halo is.
Yeah.
And Gears of War is, you are a muscly man with a chainsaw gun fighting grotesque creatures. And you crack ridiculous jokes that are wonderful. And yeah. But like, military shooters are like the Battlefields and the Call of Duties and the Medals of Honor and the.
I don't think we'll ever have one of those again.
The Brothers in Arms. Yeah, I think Medal of Honor and Brothers in Arms are both dead, but
I think Brothers in Arms have been dead for a very long time.
Brothers in Arms has been dead for a while.
Medal of Honor had that like modern day, like, true story
that never came out.
No, it came out.
Oh, it did? Was it just terrible?
Like, the people that were actually involved with it spoke up about it, and like,
what was it called? What was it called?
I think it was just called Medal of Honor.
Hey, there was a game called Medal of Honor Warfighter that was like being talked about 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, that one never came out.
Yeah, that's the one that never came out.
But like the one that first came out,
yeah,
that was like modern day, like, the people that were actually involved in that, like, spoke out, like, no, this isn't right at all.
Yeah.
And like all of these horrible things about it, and
borderline disrespectful.
Yeah. and like all these bad things. So like, not only was the game bad, but it also got a bad rep.
Yeah. Was that
died.
a Gearbox game?
No, that's an EA game.
Well, did EA make it though?
Yes.
Because Medal of Honor Warfighter was gonna be a Gearbox game.
No, it was an EA game.
Randy Pitchford pitched that game.
Well, Warfighter might have been Gearbox because EA was like, yeah, we fucked up. Let's not ever touch this again. And Gearbox is like, hey, you throwing something away? We got this Duke Nukem that we're reviving. I'm sure we can do the same for you.
That was the one of those gross things that Gearbox picked up out of the trash that actually didn't come out.
Oh, you were not making an Aliens game? Oh, I'm sure we can do that. We'd love some funding.
You hear you're making something that will make money regardless. We'll just take all that money and put it towards this good game we're working on.
Yeah, Gearbox concerns me as a company.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you make these great games with some asshole characters. Where do you... I see where you got your inspiration. So Claptrap is Jerry in accounting. Handsome Jack is your boss, isn't he? I need this new character. Hey Tina, what do you think? Yeah, that sounds great, whatever you just rambled on about. Go on.
That game is incredible, though.
Oh, I'm bleeding.
Borderlands 2 is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't care about the shady development cycle that it had and all the legal trouble that Gearbox got into after the Duke Nukem and Aliens fiasco. But that game is incredible, and they're making another one. Yeah. So
what are they gonna screw over on this development cycle?
Well, Battleborn is meh.
Yeah.
And
first one up.
And also probably has microtransactions. And some people...
No, it doesn't. Actually.
It doesn't? Okay,
no.
Never mind. They're not taking any money from that, I guess.
I watched Angry Joe's review on it today, actually, while I was working.
Angry Joe!
Like, he has a new thing called Rapid Fire Reviews.
What did he think of that game?
He said, like, if you're playing it alone, no, don't buy it. But if you're playing with friends, you'll probably have fun with this because it's got, like, a really good multiplayer progression system.
I played the beta with my brother, and like we were both kind of just like, are you having fun? Because I'm not really.
But like it sounds interesting because like you've got like you make your character how you want as you play the game, and there's loot to like add more customization to your character.
Yeah. And I feel like,
which sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and I feel like that game's gonna sell well, and they'll put that money towards the next Borderlands game, which is how that should work.
I mean, that game's basically like a Borderlands spin-off.
Yeah, but I feel like I heard they're trying to make another Duke Nukem game, but I'm not sure if that died. It might have died, but I'm not sure. But,
if they're actually going to put money in it, maybe.
Well, I was saying that might be something that they're putting the money towards the next Borderlands game.
Yeah, I'm not even sure why they would like bring that up. Like, hey, we can make a new Duke Nukem. No, Duke Nukem.
No come. But yeah, I don't know.
But I think we've run out of steam with this topic. Do we want to just continue on with whatever in this, or
I mean,
we can combine different aspects into this video.
Aspects?
Yes. Aspects.
Yes. Yars. Oh, do whatever you want. You want to talk about something? We can talk about something.
I mean, we could talk about like the Overwatch and the Uncharted, but I feel like those should be their own videos.
Yeah, those should be their own. Let's just call this good. Yeah,
I think that'll about do us.
Yeah. That'll about do us on the future of shooters and what we
this year in shooters.
Yeah, and what we're wanting from Battlefield 1, because this might actually be the first Battlefield game that I buy. Mm-hmm. I've never bought one before, and I got
1942. And
I thought it was gonna be Hardline, but I played the beta, wasn't super into it, and heard the story was better than 3 and 4, but still not great.
Yeah.
So I just didn't on that one. But this looks genuinely interesting to me, and I might buy it just out of curiosity.
Because of the Zeppelins!
Zeppelins and horses and just how interesting it looks and how beautiful it looks.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited to see what happens, but you know, it might end up like Hardline, and I just won't again. But, you know,
which would be a damn shame, because
it would be a damn shame.
Because like there are so many possibilities you can do with World War I, and nobody has touched it because it is a touchy subject. Yeah. So if this fails, we'll probably never see one for maybe about another 20, 30 years.
At least not a shooter.
Yeah. What else? I mean, a strategy game?
Well, a strategy game, or like what Valiant Hearts did.
Yeah.
Like a story-driven experience.
Yeah. But World War I is a very, very horrific thing that experienced from like the first-person view.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays with VR.
I don't even want to think about this game in VR.
I would honestly think about getting VR just for Battlefield, because like if it does that,
I feel like people are gonna get like legit post-traumatic stress if they do that.
That just speaks to how good this was made.
Yeah.
However,
that's an issue.
Yeah.
Like, people die that way.
People developed issues through that.
You know how realistic this is? People have problems because of it.
Get a legitimate shell shot from playing with headphones.
You take a hit from behind and feel like you actually took a hit from behind.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm afraid would happen to me if I did VR shit.
It's like, whoa!
because like it's kind of that thing of like whenever you're watching something in like surround sound and something goes on off camera and it sounds like it's behind you, I feel that.
Yeah.
Like in Harry Potter when the Dementors show up and it does the surround sound and the Dementors go around Harry, I feel that in the back of my neck.
Yeah.
So like if I play Battlefield 1 with headsets and a VR set, which I don't have money for.
This is all hypothetical, ladies and gentlemen.
But like if I'm like near those artillery guns going off, and then like if I'm in no man's land and one of those things happen right in front of me, and like I'm gonna leap out of this chair that's firmly planted in the ground.
Yeah.
Break me and everything on me.
Yeah, well, I feel like that stuff can happen without VR.
Yeah.
Like, as games get prettier, because I'm gonna jump back to talking about Uncharted real quick. I was playing that earlier, and like there's a lot of moments when like there's a cliff and like a real steep drop, and I looked down at that, like at how far down that is, and it felt like when you're at the Independence Center Mall and you look down
from the floor,
the top floor, it just kind of feels like whoa, and like, I've never felt that before. And like there's one part when you're in Madagascar and like the sun is kind of like moving behind the clouds and then out from behind the clouds again, and it just gets real bright for a second, and I actually almost felt the heat. That's incredible, and that's a third-person game.
Yeah. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
The weather effects.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
I would love to play some of these new games coming up in VR. Especially like with shooters, to where like you can look forward and like whenever you look left or right, like you go with your gun, but then like you can actually also move your head around.
Yeah.
So like your cursor's still here, but you can look over here and like see something here, and you're like, oh, I want to go this way, and then turn that way.
That'd be super cool because like that's how people work.
Yeah. Well, unless you're in the military, and then you do, like... Because if you see something in front of you, you're going to shoot it.
Yeah.
But this is World War I, and it is a totally different thing.
Yeah. Because,
hey, we have mustard gas, and shit goes down with mustard gas.
Yeah,
I am genuinely afraid of what they're going to show with that, especially with mustard gas.
Yeah.
Like, if you... Like, you hear the gas, gas, and you put the thing on real quick, but your buddy next to you doesn't, and so, like, you see him, and he, like, pulls on you, like, and then just, like, falls on the floor, twitching, screaming.
Yeah, and, like...
Are they gonna have Trenchfoot as a mechanic?
I really doubt that.
Yeah, because it takes a while for Trenchfoot to happen, but...
Trenchfoot!
Can we have that, like, be shown? Because that was kind of a big thing with World War One.
Let's not speculate as to, like, what little tiny niche things they're going to throw.
It wasn't tiny. People had skeletal foots.
I understand it was a big problem for those people. But that does not...
Skeletal foots, Davey.
Doesn't have to be a gameplay mechanic.
My foot was tied together by nothing but ligaments.
It'd be hilarious if, like, he's just like, you enter one battlefield scenario and you start running and just all of a sudden just fall over, like, my foot! Ah! And you look at it, it's all gross and shit.
I mean, that could be like an incentive for like the multiplayer mode, to where like if it's raining on the map, so you don't stay in the trenches the whole game and just like kind of pot shot at people. Like, oh, you're staying in here too long, your foot itches. You might want to get on dry land and change your socks.
They're not gonna make you change your socks.
I know.
None of this is gonna happen. Insatiable.
I'm just throwing out ideas.
These are things to where it's going to no longer be fun anymore. Like, there is a fine line between being completely realistic and being a fun video game that people want to play. We want to be on that. Not over here. Not over here. We want to be here. But Trenchfoot! No.
I think that'll about do it for this video.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked what we talked about or have some input, you can comment in the comment section below. You can like and subscribe to our channel and
Support the Trenchfoot Initiative.
share on Facebook, do all that fun stuff. I am Davey here with Treblechin Entertainment. This is Drew here with Treblechin Entertainment.
I was going to say my name, but I guess not.
Well, you can say your name now if you want.
No, it's too late.
All right.
It's too late to apologize.
This is a nameless bastard. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take it easy.
Goodbye. Where is it?